Welcome back to the CareNet program, and we are back and we are focusing on depression. This month, we are diving into this difficult topic where we do not realize how severe and how many people are struggling with depression. Today, we are focusing on one of God's prophets who struggled with depression. Stay tuned as we read the verse for today, which we find in 1 Kings 19, verse 4.
And walked for a whole day into the desert. Then he sat down under a bush and asked to die. He said, I had enough, Lord, take my life. I am not better than my ancestors.
Elijah was one of God's good prophets. He was going through a hard time after he did exactly what God expected from him. But it almost like he came at a point where he was burned out, he was depressed, where he fled out of his town and he went in the wilderness. He was sitting under a tree because he wanted to be isolated. This part that we read, he said to God that I am done, I am tired, I don't want to do this anymore. And with depression, this is where the point where a lot of people get to. They feel like they cannot go on. Elijah asked God for him to die because he was just so tired and done with everything that was going on there. He reached this lowest point in his depression point. He was suffering of this heavy feeling of weariness, of tiredness, of just so many negative feelings he was overwhelmed with. He was at a point of exhaustion. He just wanted to give up. He was alone in this awful solitude, silence place. He withdrew him out of the company of everyone, and he wanted to just grieve where he was in this deep hole where it feels like the hole just sucked him in. He just wanted to sleep. Does this sound familiar? When you struggle with depression, it is so easy to isolate yourself, to take yourself out of a company, out of society, out of where the reality is, and just isolate yourself where it's just you and your thoughts. We do not know what caused or what was the exact result of why Elijah was feeling this. But the thing is, it's not about how he got there. It's the fact that he's in this position. And this is maybe a lot of things happen to you, and you cannot identify the things that made you come to this point. But you see, with this story is that we see where God is in the midst of it all. When he was struggling with his thoughts, wanting to sleep and isolating himself, God was there. We think that when we are in this negative place, when we are tired, when we are weary, we think that we are alone. We isolate us to be alone. And when we get there, it feels alone. And this feeling of being alone overwhelms us. But what God is actually showing us that you are not alone. In the midst of it all, God is there. Elijah wanted to sleep, and then God sent an angel to wake him up and give him food to eat and water to drink. In the midst of this difficult time for Elijah, God knew what he needed. He didn't tell him, get up, stop feeling this way. He's actually giving him things that he needs to strengthen himself, in order to fight what he was going through. It shows that we are serving a God that has compassion, that cares for what you are feeling. He is showing love and care in the midst of it all. He is wake him up to eat and to drink, and then he sleeps again. And the next time the angel comes and tell him that he needs to eat and get up so that he can have strength to eat up in order to take the next step. In the midst of all, God is not leaving him alone or not showing compassion. He is there in the midst of it all. God is making us aware that in the midst of it all, whatever you're going through, that he is present. He is being Elijah's companion in this whole part, in this whole time when he was feeling down. You are not alone. When it feels like people and your loved ones are far away and do not care for you, or they feel like they are absent in your needs, today God is showing you that He is with you. He is there. And when we go through a difficult time, knowing that God is with you, it doesn't change the circumstance. It doesn't solve your problem. It doesn't put you in a better place. But to know that that someone is with you. It's like when you were a child and it was dark. Just knowing that a stronger person, that your parent, your father or your mother or your older brother, sister is walking with you in the dark. This doesn't light up the room. It won't be sure that you won't hit your toe, or you won't step on something that will hurt you, or you will still be in the dark. But knowing that God is with you, knowing that this person is walking with you, this is exactly how it is when God is with you. It gives you a peace. It gives you hope that He is with you. This story where Elijah was lying under this tree, they say that it grows just enough height for when travelers went by it. It protects them from the sun or when there's a storm. You see, he chose that tree. But actually, when he realized he was sleeping or was awake, he realized that even this God has placed this tree at a place to protect him. God is protecting us. He is with you and He does love you. That's why He cares what you're going through. He hears your struggles. He hears what you're going through. And that should give us the peace. When it feels like you reach the lowest point in your life, know that God is with you, and that may carry you through.